Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Florida. And today our question comes to us from 76 Thurs. And 76 Thurs writes to say that he recently read an article suggesting that split brain patients prove that there can be no consciousness after death. And he would like my take on this. And for those of you who are not familiar with the term split brain, this is a procedure which is performed for certain people who suffer seizures in which the two halves of the brain are severed so that there can be no electrical communication between them. And this results in a number of different changes to their physical abilities. And the author of the article apparently felt that this proves that there can be no life after death. And my take on this is that these are apples and oranges. The one thing has nothing to do with the other. But that's because I believe the brain is a mechanism through which the soul controls the body, and through which spirit is expressed in matter. And I readily agree that if the brain is damaged or disrupted, it will disrupt the ability of the soul to manifest in the physical. It will make changes in what can be manifest, what can be expressed. So the fact that a change to the brain makes such a change in the expression of the individual doesn't surprise me or in any way contradict my point of view. And I would compare it to an avatar that you might use in a computer game. The avatar can do a number of things, such as react to stimuli, it can see in a manner of speaking, it can certainly move all over the place, but there are a lot of things it can't do. It can't taste, it cannot smell. And there are a number of things that you could deduce from this, but if you deduce from this that the sense of taste or the sense of smell are fanciful ideas that are not possible, you would be mistaken. And I think that the relationship between the soul and the body is very similar to the relationship between the user and the avatar. The body cannot do everything that the soul can do. The brain cannot conceive of everything that the soul is or everything that the soul knows. We are limited in our experiences, and we talk about this a lot in our various writings, the idea that our ability to understand deity and the nature of the universe is limited by our conscious mind and can only stretch so far, and certainly not to a true understanding of these things, only to a limited understanding of these things. So in terms of this article that 76 Thurs has referenced, it seems to be grounded in the idea that the conscious mind and the soul are identical, but this is not the point of view that, at least in my spiritual background, that we take. And I would compare it also to the idea of evolution. A lot of people think that evolution and creation are somehow mutually exclusive, but the Correllian teaching, and what I understand to be the general metaphysical teaching, is that evolution is the mechanism of creation and not in any way contradictory to the idea. And it seems to make perfect sense to me as an artist. Anything that I create as an artist, as a painter, as a sculptor, or even as a writer, goes through a process of evolution as it's created. So why would the world not? And I don't really see these things as being in any way contradictory to one another. I would also point out that every individual life goes through a process of evolution from birth through childhood to adulthood and even right up until death. The entire thing is a process of evolution. And it seems to me that this is simply one of the aspects of the physical universe which is a given, and does not in any way inherently contradict the idea of deity and spirit or creation, because there's nothing in the concept of creation that says that it's poof out of nothing. And the idea that it should be a process really is not particularly odd to me. So coming back to the mind and the soul, the mind is a tool that the soul uses to express itself in the physical, and the personality is a result of the interaction between the conscious mind and the soul. The part that continues after death is more than just that personality. That's one of the things that we talk about often when the subject of ancestors comes up. If the spirit has crossed over into the other world after death, the part of it you're going to be dealing with as an ancestor or as a spirit guide is the higher self. And that means that many of the lower attributes are left behind. They are not part of that higher self. Now, when the soul comes back into the world, as a general rule, they pick them back up. But if they've actually crossed over, you should not encounter those parts. And this has to do with that interaction between the soul and the tools that it uses to express in the physical. So these would be my thoughts on the matter. I hope you find them helpful, and until next time, may you blessed be. Pray for peace. Pray for love. Pray for stability. Pray for the nation where you live, pray for the world. Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from witchschool.com. Are you looking for the best in pagan and magical education? With more than 12,000 pages, witchschool.com is like having your own personal library with individual learning assistants to help you study. And Witchschool's Anyone, Anytime, Anywhere education system is available any place on Earth, anywhere you are and anytime you want it, as long as you have an internet connection. Witchschool's lifetime memberships are a great value. They really do last a lifetime. They've been there for years and they'll be there for years to come. So get your membership today at witchschool.com.